Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Welcome to Talking Politics. I am your host, Robert Press. I write for the Bronx Chronicle, as you can see here by my press card from the New York City Police Department, or I should say media card. I also contribute to the Co-op City News, the Parkchester Times, and the latter, like this TV show, is owned by Muslim media. There will be no talking about Community Board 11 today. There is lots of other news happening, and I have a guest later on who is running for this open seat in the 77th Assembly District. We'll have more on that in the second half. The views here expressed on the show by anyone or any comments that you may see, like you just saw down at the bottom of the TV, are those of the commentator or the guest or even the writer of the comment, and not necessarily the view of Muslim media. Let me go on to the weather. As I look outside, I see snowflakes coming down, and it is cold. We are in the midst of a cold wave. Later today, we will see about 1 to 3 inches of snow, with a high temperature not getting above freezing and going down to about the mid-20s tonight. The snow should end sometime early tomorrow morning, with even colder temperatures that should not be getting above 30, and again going down below 20 at night. Sunday, the cold weather continues with the temperature just getting above freezing, but going down below 20 again at night. So make sure your radiators are working. Monday, the temperature should get into the upper 30s, but again, going into the low 20s at night. It's not until Tuesday that that the temperature will get above 40 degrees. Now, if you haven't heard, pardon me, let me go to this move right here. My mistake. The New York City Emergency Management Department has issued a travel advisory for today. Snow with possible impacting into the evening commute. Light snow is expected throughout the day as a low-pressure system passes through our south. A few flurries are possible, but accumulations of 1 to 3 inches most likely will be between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. tomorrow, and it will begin to taper off into the afternoon. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said cold conditions continue throughout the weekend, allowing snow to stick around. With more snow expected throughout the day tomorrow, our city agencies are prepared, and we're encouraging New Yorkers to plan for a easier commute, whatever that means, and take the necessary precautions to remain safe. The New York City Department of Homeless Services has issued a code blue, and outreach teams will canvass all 5 boroughs to connect our most vulnerable New Yorkers to shelters. No one who is homeless and seeking shelter in New York City during the code blue will be denied. For the most immediate response, New Yorkers who see individuals they believe to be experiencing homelessness and in need of shelter should contact 311 via phone or the mobile app and request outreach assistance. Now, if you're having heat problems, New York City says to call 311 and report it. The inspectors will be sent out. They want you to stay informed before, during an emergency. The city will send emergency alerts and updates to New Yorkers throughout various channels, including Notify NYC, which you can sign up for emergency notifications online at 311. And you could also follow at Notify NYC on Twitter. Now, the steps that the city is telling you is they want you to allow for extra time to travel and expect delays with little to no notice. Use public transportation whenever possible. If you go outdoors, wear dry, warm clothing and cover exposed skin. Keep fingertips, earlobes, and noses covered. Wear a hat, hood, scarf, and gloves. Shivering is an important first sign that the body is losing heat. It is a signal to return indoors. You should exercise caution and avoid slippery surfaces like ice, which may not be visible. And at night when you're driving, if this ice could become black ice where you will not see it, so you got to be extra careful when driving at night. Workers who spend a lot of time outdoors are at risk for cold-related health impacts. If you're an employer, implement safe work practices, provide appropriate protective equipment, and train workers on how to stay warm during the cold winter weather. Again, if you drive, vehicles take longer to stop on the snow and ice. than on dry pavement. Use major streets or highways for travel whenever possible. Have heightened awareness of cars, particularly when approaching or crossing intersections, and watch out for pedestrians who may come out anywhere in between cars or trucks that are parked. Have an emergency kit in your car. It should include items like a blanket, a flashlight, water, snacks, first aid kit, and snow shovel. You're asked to check on friends, relatives, and neighbors, especially older adults and people with disabilities, to access and function needs or health conditions and help them prepare if needed. You're also asked to charge your cell phones and make sure that you have a flashlight with batteries handy. And if you lose power, to call 911 if you need life-sustaining equipment. To report power outages or down power lines, Con Edison's 24-hour hotline is 1-800-75-CON-ED, or it's 1-800-752-6633. You can also report an outage on Con Edison's website. National Grid's 24-hour hotline is 718-643-4050. Yes, I was reading that. Now, in case you haven't heard, Donald Trump won the Iowa caucuses by over 50% over his four opponents, two of which have already dropped out of the race, leaving just Trump, his second-place finisher, Ron DeSantis, who received only 21%, and third-place finisher, Nikki Haley, who only received 19%. The importance of Trump getting over 50%, we hear people saying, well, there were 49% of people, or almost 50% who voted against Trump. But normally, this is the first primary or showing of the candidates, and there are anywhere from 10 to 20 candidates. In 2016, there were 18 candidates running, and I believe the leader only got about 15%. Okay, so 50% showing, this is probably one of the first times that someone has gotten 50% or recently gotten 50%. The Republican contest moves now to New Hampshire, which will hold the first in the nation primary on January 23rd, which is Tuesday coming up. The shrinking field will compete there after the conservative entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy suspended his campaign after a disappointing fourth-place finish, and he has endorsed Donald Trump. Former Jersey Governor Chris Christie also called it quits, and he has not really endorsed any one of the three remaining candidates yet. Now, in a surprise move, Congresswoman Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez of the Bronx and Queens has already called Donald Trump the winner of the Republican primary for president. I'm going to move to the Middle East because there's a little problem with shipping there in the Red Sea. Houthi rebels will provide safe passage to Chinese and Russian ships in the Red Sea as they maintain attacks against vessels in retaliation for the Israeli war in Gaza, a spokesman for the Iranian-backed militants told Russian media on Thursday. Yes, I get a connection there with Russian media, too. In an interview with the Kremlin newspaper, Izvestia, senior Houthi official Mohammed al-Bakhtari said the Yemen-based militants would only attack ships linked to Israel and its allies. As for other countries, including Russia and China, their shipping in the region is not threatened, he said. Moreover, we are ready to ensure the safe passage of their ships in the Red Sea because freedom of navigation plays a significant role for our country. The Houthis fired missiles at another U.S.-owned commercial ship yesterday, just hours after a new round of U.S. military strikes against the group in Yemen. Israeli ships or those in any way connected with Israel will not have the slightest opportunity to sail through the Red Sea. He told the Russian outlet the attacks on them will continue. Now, there is a civil war going on, in case you don't know. In Yemen, it's between the North Yemenis, who want to be a free country, and the Iranian-backed South Yemenis. Now, on to the New York Democratic primary for the 16th Council District. It looks like it's going to be one of the highest profile inter-party fights in the nation, pitting incumbent Representative Fireman Jamal Bowman against Westchester County Executive George Latimer. And you're going to ask, why am I saying fireman? Because Jamal Bowman is now famous for pulling a fire alarm in the U.S. Capitol, and he has claimed he thought it was an exit. So I have given him the nickname Fireman George Bowman. Now, the district stretches from Wakefield in the North Bronx, with a very few blocks of the North Bronx, through much of suburban Westchester County. But that could change since the Court of Appeals has ordered independent redistricting commission to redraw the boundaries of the state congressional districts. And an interview with City and State in December, Latimer acknowledged that if the district is redrawn to include more of the Bronx and less of Westchester County, he's not going to win the race. Now, we're tracking who is backing which candidates in this race. Bowman has the Working Families Party, Make the Road Action, New York State Nurses Association, Justice Democrats, League of Conservation Voters, elected officials, Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, State Senator Gustavo Rivera, and New York City Controller Brad Lander. All three of those may not count if he's pushed up into Westchester County. George Latimer, the Westchester County executive, has the Civil Service Employees Association, and Westchester County elected officials, State Senator Shelley Mayer, Assembly Member Amy Paulin, and Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone. Like I said, the race is going to wind down to wherever the territory is. If it's in Westchester, Latimer has the advantages. If you get some of the Bronx, then it goes a little bit more to Jamal Fireman Bowman. Governor Hochul announced the highlights of her 2025 budget. She revealed the budget with record investments, no income tax increases, investment in public safety, and initiatives to keep New York safe. Some of the highlights are $35.5 billion to fund Medicaid health care for eligible New Yorkers, $4.8 billion to address serious mental illness and youth mental health crisis, $35.3 billion for school aid, and an increase of $825 million from last year. New York, $6 billion in federal funding through the 1115 waiver, regional and state investments to bolster economic development, $435 million invest in resiliency projects to protect communities from severe floods. She implements the redevelopment of underutilized sites for housing, initiative to repurpose state sites for properties as uses housing, $100 million to pave our potholes program. And this is all in her 140-page budget outline that you can find on my blog at www.100%.blogspot.com under Governor Hochul's highlights of the budget. It's interesting, though, that the governor wants to include mayoral control of the public schools in the budget when it has nothing to do with the budget, and State Senator John Liu and others are unhappy with the way the public schools are being run. I would guess that the mayor, instead of getting a 4-year extension like Governor Hochul wants him to get, may get a 1 or a 2-year extension. Now, Mayor Adams has released his preliminary budget for fiscal year 2025. It's a $109.4 billion budget that restores funding. Mayor Adams' triangle offense for city recovery, public safety, public spaces, and people. It's a nearly $8.2 billion in reserve. It builds on the administration's record of supposedly responsible financial management while prioritizing needs for the working class New Yorkers. The police department, fire department, sanitation department, libraries, Department of Education, are being held harmless in the preliminary budget, while the Department of Education, DYCD, and Aging are partially exempted. It seems that Mayor Adams was able to make up the cuts that he said he was going to do when he ran into opposition from the city council. And we know from previous budget cuts that Mayor Bill de Blasio tried to get in, that the city council has just overrid him and put those budget cuts back in. Governor Hochul, though, is proposing a tax break called 485X to replace the old 421A initiatives. However, the governor is not initially doing it. She's kicked the ball to construction trade unions and developer groups in the hopes that they will settle it up. One other quick note is that Mayor Adams has raised $700,000 for his defense fund before I go to my commercial, and he's already spent over $400,000 of it, more than half, even though Mayor Adams has not been charged with any crime at all. And let me go to my commercial now, and I'll come back with my guest and some other items when I come back. Thank you.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely convince you.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Before I get into my guest, I just have a couple of more quick items. It appears that Mayor Adams has just vetoed the city council bill that he says will make New York City streets less safe. That's Intro 586A, which Mayor Adams said could slow response time, undermine community-oriented policing, and add tens of millions of dollars in overtime to the budget. Now, while the mayor has vetoed this, public advocate Jumaane Williams is holding a rally where he says that with this veto, the mayor is threatening New York safety to advance his own ideological and personal political agenda. Either he is vetoing the bill without reading it, or he has deliberately deceived people to scare New Yorkers and justify his dangerous choice. And he says that the public advocate says when the city council overrides the veto, the administration will have to move forward and faithfully execute the legislation instead of sabotaging it and hurting public safety. One final note is that city planning will be hosting info sessions on the City of Yes housing opportunity proposals. They'll be holding info sessions on Thursday, January 30th, Tuesday, February 27th, Wednesday, March 27th, and April 17th. The links to register for these info sessions that are on video on Zoom are on my blog, and go to it. It's under the heading of City Planning. We'll host these info sessions. It's at www.100%bronx.blogspot.com. On the left side, under the heading, like I said, City Planning to host info sessions. Now, on to races. As you can see, I have my horse race tie on. In the 82nd Assembly District, the race to watch is whether incumbent Michael Benedetto will win, or in the Democratic primary, or challenger Jonathan Soto will win. It's important to see that which congressperson gets Co-op City. I see my guest is with me. I'll get to you in a moment. Because Co-op City is now, with the redistricting, will it be Jamal Bowman getting Co-op City back? Will it be Alessandra Ocasio-Cortez keeping Co-op City, which would, either one of those would favor Jonathan Soto, or as people are saying, Richie Torres, Congressman Torres may get Co-op City, which would then favor Assemblyman Benedetto. However, we have coming on February 13th a special election. And District Leader Yves Filius, who was the leading candidate for the 77th Assembly District, has withdrawn, and the Bronx Democratic Party has put up another candidate. But my guest right now is Mr. Norman McGill, who is running for the vacant 77th Assembly seat district. Now that Assemblywoman Joyner has stepped down. And before I introduce him, I just want to tell you a little bit about Mr. McGill. He is a community activist. He's lived in the community of Highbridge, 77th Assembly District, all his life. He was recently given an honor from Vanessa Gibson as a community leader. So let me bring on Mr. McGill and ask him a few questions. Let him say a few words, introduce himself also. So, Mr. McGill, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Good afternoon. Thank you. As you stated, my name is Norman. I'm also known as Sobe McGill. I'm a resident of the 77th District all my life. I've been raised here by my mom, who's a pastor, Puerto Rican. My dad is African American. I raised my kids here. I have a lovely wife of 26 years. I have 3 kids, all who have went to college. I actually have 2 kids right now who are on basketball scholarships in college. So I know what it is to bring our youth up through this community and get them where they need to be, where they need to go.
Now, I understand that gun violence is very big in the area. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, prevalent. We have a lot of gun violence is out of control in our area, and I have worked countless throughout the years with groups like RTG, called Release the Grip, SOS, Save Our Streets, and marches with other parties, other elected officials against gun violence, which has been nonstop within our community, which is out of control, and which we know is detrimental to the kids and our youth and growing up in our community.
And you said we spoke before, the show, and I got a little information about the candidate. You said that there is a big problem with marijuana, which is now called cannabis, in the area. Am I correct on that?
Yes. First of all, cannabis is being misused. I mean, the main purpose of it was medical use within the community or medical use outside the community for other people. And now they're actually using it recreationally, and it's being destroyed. It's destroying our young youth. They're not even having an open mind or what they should do going forward in the future, because they are using it not way out of control. It's way out of control. It's almost like it's on the street. You can actually buy it in the store, in the local stores, through the Bronx district, 77th district, and throughout all 5 boroughs.
And your opponent, though, however, is a lawyer for the cannabis industry who is trying to get more cannabis stores open. I'm trying to find his name. I really can't find his name. There was a press release from the Bronx Democratic Party about him with LaToya's departure from the Assembly. A special election to ensure representation for the 77th District will be held in February. Is Governor Hochul kind of kept this a secret. She made the announcement on Tuesday, she signed the proclamation on January 12th, which set the date for February 13th, the earliest that the election could have been held. And you're the Republican Party nominee. And like I said, East Phileas was the leading candidate for the Democratic Party. Oh, I found his name. It's Landon Dias, a local attorney and consultant with experience in the cannabis industry, to be the Democratic nominee. So you're going to be going up against somebody who is pushing these cannabis stores. Anything you want to say about that?
Well, that goes against everything that I've been taught from my mom. I come underneath my mom, who's a pastor, who has raised me to up youth, the youth in the community. That goes against everything that I was raised under. I come underneath Areela Green, Joe Green from District 9 also as well. Going up to Albany as a young kid and seeing the different challenges and different things we had to vote on. So that goes against everything. You're actually taking the actual youth and steering them in the wrong direction, because they are using it and misusing it in the wrong direction. That is not correct at all. Mr. Lander, well, all I would have to say is that you cannot trick the people of the Bronx or the 77th district. I've been here, raised here. This election, let me say right now, it's not about the party. It's about the right person who's going to represent this community. People in this community know my face. They know my name. Do not get confused by the game. We are here on the ground, 10 toes down, walking, helping, striving. I've heard Landon, he done work in Florida, helping with elections and elected officials in Florida. We can't trick the people of the 77th district. Florida is not the Bronx. I know the struggles of the Bronx. I come home, I know what is an elevator not working, and I see a wheelchair or walking in the hallway. I know where we need a traffic light. I know where they need speed bumps. I know where the schools need more safety people out there to get our kids to and from school. So we cannot trick the people of the Bronx or the 77th district. I've been here and I've been fighting for this community all my life and will continue to do so.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Florida. Your opponent also, I believe, comes from Harlem. At a point, he was living in Harlem, so we don't really know how much time he has spent in the Bronx. It's just that maybe he works here in the Bronx or whatever.
I've never seen him. I've never heard of his name until now. So this is what I'm telling the people of the 77th district. Please do not be tricked. I'm not a candidate that's been put here. I am here. I raised my kids here as well. I've been in these public school systems. I know the struggle. I see the struggle. I will go to Albany and I will fight for you. I will create jobs, better employment, make our playground safe.
Well, also, you're a current NYCHA Tenant Association president, I believe.
Yes, I'm the resident association of the Highbridge community, which is in the 77th district.
And how many apartments or are in that group of buildings?
Between 700 to 721, somewhere around there, because some of them has been re-ramped to be double sized and everything. So somewhere between 700 to 721. There's approximately, I want to say, like 2,100 residents here in this community. But I'm a type of person that always been the president here and also took care of the person across the street. I cannot be okay and the person across the street is not okay. So I represent the whole community before I was running for the seat.
You said, though, that there are problems with public safety in the community, correct?
Correct.
Now, I'm going to guess that there are very few white people in the Highbridge area, so whoever the police stop will be a minority person. And now with this new regulation 586A that the public advocate says, which was his bill that he got passed in the city council, and it's veto proof now that the mayor has vetoed it. Do you think that that's going to slow down police work, that they're going to have to fill out now a little paper that every time they talk to somebody, that's going to have to include who they were, what race or nationality or origin that they have? Will that slow down the police department?
Yeah, definitely will. One of the things I want to say was I want to continue working with communities. I want to work with law enforcement. I want to build a better alliance so that the police can do their work, can do their jobs with dignity, pride, and honesty. We want them to feel safe as well in coming into the community. So we also respect law enforcement, but this will slow down the process and create more friction within the community. We need more community affairs to work with the community, and then you know what's needed in the community and what we belong to.
And my final question would be to you before, as we're ending the show, the no cash bail policy. How has that affected your community? Has it been good for the community, or has it not helped the community? Because what we're seeing these criminals that are being let out, or I should say they're being arrested and then let right out because of the no cash bail. Do you have an opinion on no cash bail?
I think it's not a good thing right now, exactly because we need to actually make sure that we keep our streets safe. I think that when we come in contact with anybody who has been convicted or being tried for something, that I think they need to be able to due process it diligently, and not also just let them out so easily, so that we know that we have the right person off the street if they need to be off the street.
Okay, I want to thank you for coming on the show, Mr. McGill. I want to invite your opponent. In the past, the Bronx Democratic Party has not wanted their candidates to come on this show. And we've seen in the last two elections with State Senator Gustavo coming on the show, he beat his opponent. I forgot her name already. And in this most recent election in the 13th Council District, the winner of the 13th Council District, Christy Marmorato, was on the show, and Marjorie Velazquez declined to come on the show, or didn't come on the show, from the Bronx Democratic Party. Mr. Jason Lately, who I have contacts with at the Bronx Democratic Party, has said, no, I don't want my candidates to come on your show. And let's hope, Mr. McGill, since you're coming on the show, I don't think that your opponent will come on. And let's hope that this will give you enough power, and maybe I'll have you on again right before the elections so we can get a little more information about you and your opponent. And I want to thank my viewers for watching today. Hopefully my guest next week will be new Councilwoman Christy Marmorato, so she can tell us how her first month in office went, what committee she's on, and what she plans to do. So I want to thank my viewers for watching, and I will see you next week on Talking Politics.
Do you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer. This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.